Welcome everyone to a new episode of Crypto Michael, and today we're going to do Major Saturday. And as you can see on the screen, we've got Ethereum up, and that's for a reason. I see a large amount of people being bullish on Ethereum and still shouting that we are in a buy range on Ethereum. Well, we've just witnessed 2 weeks of acceleration upwards, in which Ethereum rallied for about 60%. So we're going to discuss this one, in which I do not believe we are in a buy range and more or less in a potential short-term top. But if you like my content, please like beneath or subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned to all the new videos that are coming out. And finally, we are back on the daily grind on the videos as well, which is delivering content for you guys. Also, I'm going to post beginners tips and tricks on Instagram, so check out my Instagram page and follow me there as well. Would be nice. But then the amount of people being bullish on Ethereum is increasing heavily lately, which is fine. I'm also bullish on Ethereum, but in this case we are seeing a large surge upwards, in which it starts to believe we're going to top out relatively soon. And as you have seen the video of 2 days ago, we were referring to the euro dollar chart, which essentially assumes that we are rallying up given that the dollar is weakening. And the good part of this all is that Bitcoin started to rally up was at the same time as the euro dollar broke out, which means that the dollar is weakening, and at the same time gold and silver started to rally. But then we also see that Ethereum is showing strength and broke out similarly, as Ethereum is literally just pulling the markets up right now, in which DeFi is starting to heat up, and Ethereum is just the one that rallies first and then Bitcoin follows. But we have been seeing that we've got a large rally up, in which we are currently in a resistance zone. And the scenario that I've pointed out here is still the scenario that I'm currently mainly watching. I'm more looking for shorts in this area than I'm looking for longs. And I know that it's more risky to look for shorts, but there's just no long opportunity right now. And I've got some longs on altcoins already, so I want to hedge myself and cover in case of a potential downward turn, which is likely as the euro dollar is reversing, and when the dollar strengthens, the rest of the other commodities or asset classes are most likely going to reverse short term as well. More on that in the live stream of Monday. But at this point we can see that we are we searched for like 60% on Ethereum. We are in a resistance zone, which is this block over here, which is also seen as the previous high in June 2019. We also have the next level above us, which is the $400 level, and we do have the level between 460 to 490. So we also see that every indicator and every expansion right now is just overshooting. We have also seen that Bitcoin has hit the CME gap and closed it, which means that right now the likelihood of closing the gaps downwards is increasing, especially given that we've taken all the liquidity above these resistance zones, and there's just a very large liquidity lying beneath the chart right now rather than further upwards. So I'm just going to erase this chart here, or it is squiggly, and we can see that we are currently in a resistance zone, through which it makes it likely that we don't want to lose the 320 level for support. So we can go back down, make another bounce, consolidate and continue. That's totally fine. Do I expect that if we're going to reverse that we're going to see a retest of 246? No. If something starts to rally upwards, and essentially in the case of altcoins, they don't retest the previous level that naturally. So it's not likely that we're going to retrace towards the zone we've got here. But essentially the last significant low on the daily is the one until 232. So you can see that the expansion on the upwards momentum is that even if we drop to 260, we can still be in bull territory, depending on the time frames you are trading. Daily time frame, we are currently in a resistance zone. A 4-hour time frame starting to look old. It starts to look like one of these cases in which if something starts to crawl up, the moment it starts to drop down or reverse, it nosedives. So for instance, you can see it in any of these as well. It's nice to see a nice crawl up. However, if it starts to turn, it usually falls off very fast. So we can see that we broke through 327 through a pennant structure, nice upwards consolidation, flip, continuation. Now we've got a level at 350 through which you don't want to see a drop below this recent level. So on the 1 hour time frame, you can see that we've got the levels over here as well. And what you don't want to see if you are bullish is that we drop below and reject the previous high. So in this case, we're currently swimming around 360. If we lose the 350 level and drop towards probably 328 to 332 and bounce to 348 to 352, if we reject here, it seems very likely we're going to test the support again and then fall further down. And then you're going to look at 283 first. So at this point, the levels we are going to watch is probably how we are going to defend the previous levels for support. So in this case, are we going to hold the previous high? Then we grant continuation and then we can continue grinding. However, in any of these cases, I do not see a long entry right now for Ethereum. But regardless of that, I do expect that Ethereum is currently inside a bull market or starting up the bull market. So the next dip, whether it comes from $400 or 450 towards 280, doesn't really matter that much. But that dip, I think you want to have that and hold towards the next rally of $800. It seems very likely that we're going to consolidate in a new range and then rally towards the $800 level and determine a new range. So when we go towards some of these majors and we check Litecoin, we can see that Litecoin also expanded relatively fast and got into the resistance zone we have marked earlier on. I do not expect an asset to break through this resistance zone in one go in the way it's doing with Litecoin and Ethereum. So in this case, I've closed my longs on Litecoin and I'm going to anticipate to see whether we can see a drop towards the level around 48 to 50 bucks. So right now, the red zone is a clear-cut short entry. And the areas that you should be looking for longs is between 47.5 to 50. Then you can probably start taking larger longs. Or around 556 for any scalp entries. And then we start to zoom in towards the 4-hour time frame. You can see that we've got a level around 54. We've also got a high around 56. So in this range, you could be looking for scalps for a quick bounce towards 59 to 60. Overall, Litecoin also looks a little bit overextended to the upside, which means that testing some lower levels would be very natural and healthy. And then we get a new consolidation period. And then usually the first drop could be painful on Bitcoin or on these majors, but usually the money flows from the majors towards small caps, and then the whole altcoin fiesta continues as altcoins, the smaller ones, are doing relatively bad at this point. Then XRP also starting to look a little bit overextended, is inside a resistance zone. I TP'd already, but it's looking like we're going to follow through the plan that we have been pointing out earlier. Above the 100-day and 200-day MA, which is a bullish signal, but now you want to see that any of the previous levels gets confirmed for support. So preferably you want to see the 22 level become support. So in this case, you see a new higher high after this level, and you want to see a new higher low, which is above 20 cents, and preferably around the 21 to 23 cents level. So there I'll be looking for longs. Right now I'll be looking for shorts. And if we get the 21, 23 higher low construction, it basically is a retest out of the downtrend, and then the next move could even bring us towards 48 cents. Then finally another one that's not moving too much recently, a little bit different structure, but it's looking still fine. And this is what you want to see in this compression. I'm already in this trade since 48 cents and I'm still holding it. As a trader, you can also be calm and patient on the markets. You can't analyze the time frame on what you are going to hold or how long you have to hold the position. It doesn't matter. Profit is profit. You've got a target to make every year, every month, every week. And if you make that target, you are doing fine. Ontology, constant higher lows, previous high flipped for support, previous high flipped for support, and consolidating, through which we can assume that we do that some more, get compression, and then the next breakout should most likely bring us towards the levels of 95 cents to $1.10. That's a small update on a major Saturday. There's not much more to say at this point. Don't get caught up in FOMO. Just don't do it. It burns your portfolio. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like beneath, and follow me on Instagram. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.